Hey everybody, and welcome to a very special presentation of Raw Dogs. This episode was recorded quite a while ago and was previously a Patreon exclusive podcast for God of War 2018. This is coming to you today because we love you, and also because we're recording an amazing episode of our podcast Popcorn Dogs for our Patreon members, where we discuss movies and television. If you want to check out how to access that exclusive podcast, bonus episodes such as this, as well as our after show, Doggies After Dark, which is very irreverent and quite inebriated. You can go to patreon.com/hairthedogcast. We have an amazing community, an amazing Discord, and lots of really great reasons for you to come and join us over there. So we'd love it if you did. Hair the Dogcast is part of the Tokyo Beat Podcast Network. A lot of amazing shows in there, so make sure to check all of those out as well. And thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting us, and enjoy this special presentation of Raw Dogs on God of War 2018.
Clinical research trial, so they pump you full of drugs, blah, blah, blah. And then they give you a bunch of money.
I thought you had to pay for drugs.
No, in this one, they give you the drugs. It's not as great as you think. But, so I did it once. And, so you have to go through this
Bath
thing.
salts.
You have to make sure you're healthy and all this. And you sign up, you go in there, and they're as a joke, you're proving that you're healthy. And as a joke, this kid is, sitting, because they just ask you broad questions, and he's like, "Oh yeah, it burns when I pee." Somebody walked up to him, stood him out, and just walked him out. It was one of the most weird thing. It was fucking wild.
It was it's like in a cult when someone says the wrong thing and they're like, "We're gonna go to the other room."
Yeah, 100%. What
we never saw him again.
Yeah, one did not.
Yeah,
he was gone. You gone.
Welcome to Raw Dogs, everybody. Don't worry, though.
I know. Thank you.
Welcome to Raw Dogs. We're back to discuss more God of War, and yes, we are here to discuss Kratos once again. Kratos a little bit more, and Kratos, the dad of war. He is mature,
A little older, a little wiser.
He got rid of his yearbooks. He doesn't listen to Slipknot anymore. Korn. He is done with the Korn, and he's just trying to go to work and be a good father.
I've been getting really into bluegrass lately.
Well, 7 o'clock, time for bed.
Dad, what's that head on your belt?
Boy, bring me a Keystone.
Not today, boy. I have a migraine.
Is Kratos sleeping on the chair again?
He does look substantially older. Yeah.
Kratos is walking around in his tidy whities around the cabin,
complaining about the thermometer.
This is my house. Are you using those lights? Then turn them off. Thank you.
It's there's a stain in the back. He doesn't have a wife to wash his clothes anymore. Yeah. So there's just a brown streak in the underwear, and he's like, "I am not a maid."
It's not poop.
It's not poop.
I'm Brad.
Then what is it? What is it, Dad? I sat in something.
I think it's food. At some point. I'm Brad. And I love God of War 2018 anyways.
I am Tyler, and I also love God of War 2018. Probably one of my favorite games I've ever played.
I'm Dylan, and I haven't played it, but goddamn do I know a lot about it. Osmosis.
Yeah.
I'm Nate. I thought it looked fantastic, so I watched a whole bunch of videos on YouTube. Not even for this, a while ago. And it looks glorious, but I've not had time to play it.
Yeah.
And this will be a spoiler warning. We don't always do this. We will always spoil whatever we're talking about generally, but this is a game that there are cool moments in the story. And if you don't want to be spoiled by those, we recommend going to play it. And we're guessing if you listen, you probably have PlayStation Plus. You might have access to it for free right now. If you do, it's worth it. It's a great game. Go check it out. But that was our spoiler warning. God of War 2018. They were not sure what to do with Kratos for a while. he had done the scorched earth of all of Greek mythology. We can't do another prequel. Mobile games aren't doing well. The PlayStation Portable is dead. What are we going to do with Kratos? That was a big question, and they did not have the answer for a while. They weren't sure. Complete reboot, start over, new character. Like, what were they going to do? And Cody Barlog returns to work on this game. Development began actually in 2014, and Barlog, one of the first things he said is like, "This will not be a prequel." Thank God. We have to do something, and we had to make it a big deal. Although I do have issues when games just drop any sort of naming convention and they just reuse the original name.
This kind of annoys me a little.
It does worry me sometimes.
I always wonder. I mean, Doom did it well, I guess. If only Eternal were a better video game, I might be a little more excited about it.
But it's still, it's like, are you talking about Doom or Doom 2016? I hate having to do that clarification, but
Yeah.
it is just Doom 2016, and this is God of War 2018. 2016, concept art of Norse mythology was leaked, and that was a debate for a while. They weren't sure on Norse mythology or Egyptian mythology.
Norse is the way to go.
I mean, it was like
better choice.
It was split down the middle, and it was very much they weren't sure what was going to happen. But Cody Barlog was the one who's like, "We're doing Norse mythology for this."
What year did Assassin's Creed Origin come out?
I want to say 2016-ish.
I'm going to say 2017, I believe.
Because
Price is Right rules.
Yeah, maybe.
I always wondered if that had a factor in the decision, if there was when that Assassin's Creed was going to go to Egypt, or like the success of the Vikings TV show. Because like after I graduated high school and college, that really started taking off. It was like
TV
Norse
show.
everything for
That
a
show
while.
was fantastic.
It was a great show.
There's a cult of people in my hometown that wear kilts and pretend to be Vikings. Like they bring in their own wood
Kilts
mugs and stuff.
Kilts are not Norse. Kilts are Scottish.
Well, same area.
And it's
No.
it is.
Not at all.
I watched a great video earlier today where it was a Norse mythology expert breaking down the game and just looking at stuff. He's like, "Oh, they got these runes wrong, but they do most of this good, most of this good."
Yeah, that's not bad.
And one of the questions was like, "Why is Norse mythology like so prevalent?" And he said, "Honestly, I think it's because Lord of the Rings was such a big like movie, and you know, it's not necessarily Norse, but that aesthetic, that look, dudes with horses and swords, or just like that kind of aesthetic to something definitely had an effect." And then Game of Thrones became a very big deal. And
I would argue that maybe Norse mythology above every other mythology is about man's connection to nature and death. And everything is about that. Like you literally get summoned to a hall if you do a good job fighting in battle. Or like you die with a blade in your hand. That tends to be like the way to get to Valhalla or anything like that. And it's much more natural. It's a little more, it's not about worship, but about understanding what the gods are in relation to you. Because you do make sacrifices and stuff, but it's much more, it's a little more visceral.
Yeah. And to be honest, like Valhalla sounds like the best version of heaven. Like you're just feasting and fighting and having a good old time.
Waiting for Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Rowdy boys.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's a little maybe uninspired though, that it's like, well, it's either Egypt or Norse mythology. It's like there's a lot of potential things, but you have to go for certain
name brand. Yeah.
You need to go for name brands, and it's like, are we doing what Assassin's Creed are we gonna aim for?
Right.
Yeah, and I know
Are you going to do Chinese mythology? No one would be able to follow that in America.
that would be so fucking cool
It'd be dope, but
if Kratos went to China.
I think again, you also have to be worried about like what people are going to view as like cultural appropriation, and I think Norse is a very easy one to hit because
Kratos wearing a sombrero.
nobody.
He's real white.
Yeah,
This is offensive.
It's Aztec, which actually would be really cool.
Oh man, Aztec would be super dope.
Yeah,
They have said they want to do Egyptian mythology and Mayan mythologies.
Mayan would be cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mayan is great.
So I mean, that's one of the areas that they want to move into, and supposedly Ragnarok is the last Norse mythology god of war,
Super disappointing.
which
but
makes sense.
I was
it's
hoping
Ragnarok.
for a trilogy, but I mean, as long as they wrap it up nice, like I loved the story of the first one. I'm so stoked for the second one. I wanted it to keep going, but as long as they do a good job, if they move on to something else, I'm totally down with it.
I am a much bigger fan of leave while it's good instead of make God of War Ascension.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Agreed. Like, don't.
Or reinvent it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if they did what they did for this one again, I mean, people would follow that.
Very controversial. There's no sex minigame in God of War 2018.
Because we're adults now.
That's why I didn't play it.
This game failed. It sold 2 copies, and those people did think there was a sex minigame. Yeah. They thought it was the 2005 God of War when they bought it.
Why am I all sad all the time? Where's the brothel?
I never want to be a dad.
Well, they missed that part where
I'm a dad in real life.
I got kids already I don't talk to. Why do I got to talk to this one?
I'm sorry, did they play the same game as me? Because I'm steady getting fucked by those Valkyries. They're just over and over.
That's good. That's good. I didn't know this when I played it. The entire game is a single shot. The camera.
Even I knew that one.
I didn't know that. I played the game and didn't even notice that.
Yeah, there is no cuts.
There is not a single cut when you play the game, which is
much like modern video games, you'll be shimmying into like tight spaces, and that'll be the masking of loading.
Yep.
Yeah.
There will be long sections of just rowing a boat down nowhere, but it does maintain the single shot thing. That was something Cody Barlog was like wanting to do for sure. No loading screens, no fade to blacks, and this is the first time that a one-shot technique was used for a AAA game that's in 3D. So that's cool.
It's pretty epic.
Yeah, they said when they were making this, Dylan's gonna have the biggest perspective on this. Combat was inspired by Dark Souls with its gameplay loop and strategic decision-making, level design, and exploration inspired by Bloodborne.
Well, I mean, you would have had to have been at that time. Everything was influenced by that.
But can you see some of the DNA? And I guess you didn't play the game, but I can definitely see Bloodborne level design for sure.
Dark Souls combat, a little more methodical, a little bit more focused on... There's almost like everything's a little bit more deliberate in what you're doing. It is not hacking. It is enemy control, but the tightness to your character, that's something very common in Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Whereas Bloodborne kind of pulls away from that and focuses more on the action. I can definitely see where they got all their inspiration from, because making it that third person behind the shoulder thing, and keeping it tight to that's interesting.
Yeah,
you can't move the camera around. It's kind of like a Resident Evil 4 scenario. So I don't know. I mean, in Dark Souls, you can even move the camera wherever the fuck you want.
Yeah, this game does have completely revamped combat, and the camera is close, right behind Kratos, like you mentioned. Tight behind the back, and the combat requires thought, which is a new thing for God of War.
Yeah.
Not much for QTEs. I don't know if there are really any.
No, I mean, there's some that could, because the whole thing is one shot. It's the cinematic moments are still like you're kind of on edge because you might have to play them, but there's like moments where you're like beating the shit out of Baldur during a conversation where you have to like press R1.
Yeah, but
there's no like on screen cue hit this here. But like when he rams you into the rock at the beginning you get Spartan rage. Like that's the only time I can think of where it's like do this right now.
Yeah, less is more. I think with QTEs, less is more goes a long way, but also, when you haven't used Spartan Rage since God of War 3 because you didn't play the other ones, and you're getting your ass kicked, and like that's a power that just comes up like, click those thumbsticks, baby, get your Spartan Rage. I'm like, that's a good feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it says Spartan Rage available. I'm like, yeah. And then Kratos just gets pissed off. And whenever he doesn't use a weapon and he uses his fist, that's when he's really scary.
Yeah.
And that was really cool that not only do you have the blades at a certain point, but you have the axe, and then you can just throw that bitch and then go bare knuckles on some enemies require that. So it's a whole other layer of combat that you have to account for.
The Leviathan axe is your main weapon for at least the first half of the game, and much like Mjolnir with Thor, you throw the axe, you can call it back to you. It's used in a lot of puzzle solving.
I thought that was cool.
In some interesting ways.
Do you know what's hilarious? I played the Avengers game, the newer one.
Yeah.
And from the little I've actually seen of God of War, it's got to be exactly the same. Basically, Thor is based off of Kratos from that game. I can almost guarantee it.
Yeah. I mean, this game was very popular and people play the shit out of it, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Also, Kratos probably took a little from Thor in the Avengers movies with that, like calling the hammer back. We're not using the blades of chaos right away, but how do we make the hammer fun? Oh, we can just summon
also
it
the
back.
character of Thor has existed in the comic book since the 60s, so could have been that
I think that character is based on possibly mythology as well. Maybe
It turns
maybe
out.
Norse mythology.
Yeah.
You think?
Maybe, I don't know.
Their names are the same.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
They both wear like helmets.
Although Thor's design in Ragnarok
Looks awesome.
is beautiful.
Yeah.
So good.
Big fat Thor. I'm like,
He's always supposed to have been that though. Like when you read like descriptions of him, he's like the jolliest, dumbest fat. There's a reason he's called the Thunderer. Like it's like
it's because of his thighs.
yeah, he's supposed to be loud. He's supposed to be kind
You
of.
can hear him coming a mile away.
3 C's.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
You guys seen those ass cheeks clap?
Thunderclap.
But yeah, like you were mentioning with the combat, you'll take the axe and like depending on what different skills you have attached to it, you can throw the axe, freeze a dude, and leave that dude frozen and go beat the shit out of someone with your fists, call the axe back, and then like go beat him with it.
And if you're barehanded, you build your Spartan Rage faster than if you attack with the axe. So if you need to get all pissed off real fast, you just go old backyard on them.
Yeah, and so you have the axe, you have the fists, you also have the guardian shield. Your gauntlet just quickly turns into a shield when you need it to. Just like unrolls really fast. It's kind of wonky but cool, I guess, at the same time. I didn't use that very often, though. I am not going to be blocking much when I'm playing God of War. I'm very much on the... I mean, it ain't Dark Souls. I'm playing Bloodborne when I'm playing as Kratos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mainly used it for parrying.
Yeah.
It's really the only time I ever opened it up. Or like projectiles.
You also have a very big moment where you need to go into hell where your axe will not work. And you have to go back home and open up that chest. And under your yearbook is the Blades of Chaos. There's a picture of Kratos, like with frosted tips, and he's just like, oh.
Oh, no.
And then, yeah, he grabs his Blades of Chaos, and they play surprisingly similar to how they do in the original games. They have like a wide range. A lot of the attacks, while they're done differently, different buttons, but he does a lot of the same stuff.
He's got that nice, like, what is it, the X one? The final combo.
Where he takes them both down and slams them down at the same time. Very cool. You have another weapon in this game, and it is your child. Boy. Checks out. His name is Boy. Mm-hmm. I guess, yeah, let's talk about the trailer. I imagine, I don't know, what was it, 2017 when they had that trailer come out? I have it written here somewhere. 2016, a gameplay demo released of learning to hunt and fighting a troll. They didn't know, like, you were at the PlayStation event and people didn't know what the game was. They see Atreus, like, playing with some, like, little figures. And then this figure says boy from the shadows and it emerges and it's Kratos with a beard. And the fucking room goes crazy.
That was awesome.
Yeah. That's how you do a trailer, like truly. I was like, I don't even know if I'm gonna want to fucking play it, but
that's how you bring Kratos back too. It's like, oh, I didn't care about that character at all. But now he has a beard, a new look, and he went from loud anger to quiet anger, which is way more exciting, I think.
yeah.
It's scarier, realistically. When somebody's mad, you can just get away. When they're like,
You can tell when your dad's
seething.
Yeah, when
you can tell when
Kratos
your
doesn't
dad's
talk.
angry and he's just like, I'm going to the basement to listen to records.
The Green Bay Packers just lost. I'm going in the other room.
He grabs the whiskey from the cabinet and the door shuts really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little more terrifying. And Kratos is just a hype beast, right? Like, I'm killing Ares. No, I'm killing all the gods. Screw it. I'm mad at my dad.
The entire core of this game is the father-son dynamic of Kratos, the mortal god aspects of both of them, and coming to terms with both of the characters realizing, yes, Kratos is kind of reminded about being amoral and immortal, but I don't know, the son teaches him about like relationships and caring for things, because The only people Kratos has really been attached to since he killed his family was the lady he fucked. I don't think he has any interest in Atreus, really, other than the mom's like, you should hang out with him. He's like... He doesn't say anything. He just looks at her really aggressive.
Don't be a deadbeat dad. But...
And then he just walks over to the fridge and grabs a beer. Yeah. I'm going to sleep in my chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's where this game opens up is... the very first thing you have to do is
bring your wife to her burial ground.
Well, your wife is dead, Atreus' mom, and you burn the body. You have to go collect a tree to burn the body. Mm-hmm. And this is when you're learning about Atreus, who will... It's always a tricky thing with video games. Companions that are going to be with you the entire game that are not annoying and not in the way.
Atreus does a good job.
Atreus is useful and mostly great.
Isn't he the circle button, essentially?
Square.
Okay.
He'll stay out of your way. And if you want him to help in battle, you just like whatever you have set to most of his moves is going to be square.
Yeah.
He just shoots arrows and does a lot of support stuff.
Yeah.
He'll never be in danger, though. It's not like, oh, a monster grabbed Atreus, go save him.
I do not like
that does
escort
happen.
missions.
That does happen?
Yeah. When you go to I can never pronounce the names of the realms correctly. The volcano one, the land of fire.
Muspelheim or
Muspelheim.
Yeah.
Muspelheim, yeah. When you're doing the challenges, he can get grabbed.
Is that a scripted gameplay moment, or can that happen with like lots of random enemies?
It can happen with lots of random enemies. I believe I had it happen when I was playing on hard, but there is a challenge where you have to prevent Atreus from taking damage or being in danger in order to get to the top of the mountain to fight the Valkyrie. And it was a pain in the dick because he's so good at not getting in trouble for the entire game, and then this one level, like everything's grabbing him.
Yeah.
And you have to go full dad mode.
Mostly, though, he's a welcome addition to combat. It makes me think of Elizabeth in BioShock Infinite too, who is completely invisible. Never there and just screams Booker and will throw you shit.
Yeah.
Yep. And yes, that's an okay companion. And it's never anybody that you have to walk slower for, like in Assassin's Creed. Or it's like, why do they always in video games too?
You have to pay attention to their health bars.
Well, the speed that you're supposed to be moving with whoever you're with, they don't go full speed and they don't go regular like walk speed. They're always in the middle, so you're like half run, half walk, and it is like, why would you ever make that your decision?
It's Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption actually do a great job with that. You can trot as fast as you need to, even when you're supposed to be following them. It's just like, okay, let's pick this up. Let's just keep doing it because like. I want to take a jaunty little stroll with you. Could this not be told in a cutscene? Like, am I actually interacting with this? I hate that shit.
Yeah.
Especially when it's not normal walking speed. If you can't go full on the analog, don't do it.
Secondary pieces should never be like a hindrance. Or like I always think of when like a companion or a secondary gets like lost. It has its own like figure or whatever, and it wanders off, and you're like, what the fuck? Or does get in trouble or something you have to be responsible for. That's the worst part of having like a secondary in any video game.
I did bug out and lose Atreus at one point when I was fighting a dragon. Like I pressed
Dude
square.
was gone.
I pressed square, and every time you press square and he shoots an arrow, he goes like "Fwah!" And I had my headphones on, so they have like surround sound, and I heard it from like 400 yards behind me. Just this little like. Like, where the fuck are you, man?
Scared of dragons.
He must have got stuck behind a rock or something. I just kept going because I'm the best dad in the world.
It's like, no, I'm busy.
Eventually he'll teleport.
Just had to take a piss and he ran off.
I had to go back and get him. Like, you stupid kid, come on.
Yeah.
Dad, I had to go. I told you.
We are fighting dragons, boy.
We just left 10 minutes ago and you have to pee already.
Is there a mod where Kratos is Hank Hill and Atreus is Bobby?
Oh my god.
We deal with God killing and God killing accessories.
God damn it, Bobby.
God
Damn it, Loki. God damn it, Loki.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. I
just want to play Pokemon,
man. I know that voice acting, since it started happening in video games, has been more important in some games than others. But we're definitely reaching an age of video games where it's not even just that. The voice acting performances and the characterization provided by actors becomes super integral to the presentation and delivery of the story of many games. And if you have a chance and you haven't watched Raising Kratos, like hour and a half documentary, it's available on YouTube and it's on the game, I want to say as well. But they show the actors. Kratos is Christopher Judge and Atreus is Sonny Suljic. I'm probably not saying that right, but they did all of the scenes, and the Atreus actor is actually like the same model. It's the same.
Oh, cool.
It's the same kid. If you watch Jonah Hill's like skateboarding movie he made, that's the main actor in that.
No shit, I didn't know that.
And watching those two interact is great because the guy that plays Kratos, Christopher Judge, he was in like SG-1 or some sci-fi show, Stargate or something.
Stargate. Yeah,
and Christopher Judge is a big fucking dude.
Yeah.
And he looks scary as shit. And he is doing full Kratos at like this little kid, and the little kid's like, no, fuck you. And it's just amazing watching this little kid go toe to toe with him. And
he's the alien guy on the show.
I'll pull up a picture.
I think so.
Yeah, he was the alien one with like the weird head. Like
Yeah,
in
like
the middle.
the-
Yeah, I know who that is. Yeah,
That is a big dude.
yeah.
Here, actually, let's watch a tiny little video of those two doing a scene.
Not fit to be a father. I have become everything I never wanted you to be. Run. Run far away from me.
But you have changed. You're not a monster.
That is exactly what I am.
Not to me.
There's something outside of rage?
Boy.
Boy.
Father was a goat.
Is this emotion?
Yeah.
I don't know, but those two, like their performances, after I've watched a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, it's like, that is just 100% what you're seeing on screen between those two characters and the way they talk.
I saw something similar, and I love that they're doing games that way because, I mean, I went to film school. I fucking love movies, and it seems like every year the games get more and more cinematic, more and more like legit actual stories that are just that blow me away. Like God of War, this story that they tell, the father-son dynamic, has got to be one of my favorite stories that's been told in any art form at this point. One of my favorite things ever.
And it's a logical continuation for Kratos. Daddy issues has been the core issue of Kratos, like since the beginning. I mean, he killed his family as a bad father would.
Yeah.
And then he kills his dad as a bad son
Chris
would.
Benoit them.
Ooh.
Oh.
That stays in.
Yeah, we had talked about...
He did though. Well, it's not like it's an apt comparison.
No, Kratos didn't know he was killing his family. Chris Benoit did. Debatable?
Debatable.
CTE
Mental
and
illness,
roids.
CTE, yeah. And I think Kratos might have some CTE.
He's been dinged a few times.
Dude's been sent to the underworld like 8 times.
I
He's
know,
got to have a
it's
few
like, oh, how many
concussions.
times?
Literally
You have to-
been punched in the face by giants.
yeah, right. Smashed under giant rocks.
Yeah, so it was kind of a big deal to some people at the time that T.C. Carson, the voice of Kratos for the entire series before that, was not brought forward with this. But to me, it is obvious not only are you trying to reinvent the character, reinvent the game, but also when you're doing mocap, T.C. Carson is a regular-sized dude, and Christopher Judge is a fucking big guy.
You need someone who matches the physicality of it. I mean, that's how it is these days.
Yeah.
Like, even think about like Horizon, like Aloy, who Ashley Birch. Yeah, that's Ashley Birch. You have to find people who can actually nail the mocap, which is being completely physical is a lot harder on stuff like this than to actually play a character.
Yeah.
Because you're playing more pretend than you are if you were to just act with someone in a regular old scene.
Yeah, and you can't just get Troy Baker to do everything. Like that guy's got...
Troy Baker did mocap for every character in The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Well, it's wild. They got Ashley Johnson at the time. She was like 30, I think, and she played Ellie, but she had to nail all that physiology of Ellie.
Yeah.
Wild.
Well, and you can go back because they've done these behind the scenes stuff for all the God of War games. You can see them like doing this about to make love scenes, and there's just a lady in a mocap suit looking sexy on a bed, and then T.C. Carson walks in, and he's got his like arms way back, like Kratos is like,
I guess so.
I'm gonna have sex with you.
Yeah. I have two emotions, rage, and you're about to find out the other one.
You Spartan tickle. Turn the right thumbstick around real fast.
Not fast enough.
Flick it.
I think nipple play isn't just for the woman.
Lick it. And then she licked my nipples.
Tom Hanks is back.
Tom Hanks is back. Some other main characters that show up in here. We have Balder.
Oh, Balder was so good.
Yeah, Balder. After you have your wife's funeral, when you burn her and get the ashes, this dude who this like hipster ass looking dude without a shirt. Is this like he's like half trailer park, half hipster?
He looks like he shows up at your house to ask for like a pack of American spirits.
Yeah. You have any smokes?
You got any smokes?
This dude has never worn a shirt, and he's got a lot of tattoos, and he comes up, he's like, I know who you are. And he's like, oh, I thought you'd be bigger. I'm like, that's a big thing to say to Kratos. And then you have a fight with this dude, you beat the shit out of him, and you don't hurt him at all, which I remember being, I lost that battle because at first I thought it was a scripted loss, which is always the thing. If you think, oh, that must have been a scripted battle, and then it wasn't, you're like, oh, I'm bad.
Yeah.
Okay, this isn't just tap X a bunch. This is a new game. But Balder, for some reason, has beef with you. But then your wife, she said her final wishes were for her ashes to be spread on the highest peak in all of the realms. And for some reason, Kratos doesn't know. He's like, oh, it's probably that mountain. And he doesn't really look into it at all. Turns out it's a different realm, but we'll learn that later. Some other characters. Thor is not present in the game until the very end, but he is mentioned a bunch. Odin you never see, barely mentioned, but Odin will be definitely killed in the next game, I would have to venture.
Yeah.
He has to.
Thor's sons, Modi and Magni, voiced by Nolan North and Troy Baker, who must have had fun coming in and goofing off as...
Troy Baker voiced him too?
Troy, that's the only character he voiced in this game, but yeah.
I thought he did Boulder.
No.
Who did Boulder?
I think it was this actor who was I've seen in Lost. I forget. Balder voice actor. I'm going to get a... Jeremy Davies, yeah. It was this dude from Lost.
Oh, no shit.
He actually...
that is him.
Yeah.
See, Troy Baker's just so dynamic. I just figured... I was like, that sounds nothing like Troy Baker.
Dude, you see like a lady walking down the street. I'm like, is that Troy Baker?
That's awesome.
Getting lost in a role.
Because I knew Nolan North was there, but that's cool.
Yes. Freya is there as well. Balder's mommy, former queen of the Valkyries. Definitely not just a regular witch in the woods, though. Despite that's what you think. One of the best characters, ultimate homie, Mimir.
Yeah.
Mimir serves a great purpose. So you do get a head that is a talking head with a great accent that once you acquire this head, every time you go anywhere, he just tells stories and elaborates on lore in the like, so this thing about this over here. It's like that statue, it used to be much bigger, but Jormungandr fucking hates Thor. So he ate part of it. And then like some people will go slower to hear the whole story, but I'm just fucking cruising through the game. And he'll start a story, and then I'll get somewhere. He's like, I guess I'll tell you later.
Yeah. I liked his relationship with Atreus. It's like Atreus has never had a friend before, but this severed head will talk to him, and he's like, tell me more.
Yeah.
I lived in the woods.
Is this a conversation? I've never had one with Kratos.
See, my dad doesn't talk to me as Kratos is 2 feet away rowing the boat.
Yeah.
Have you seen CSI? Kratos doesn't have questions for people.
Yeah.
He needs answers. He doesn't have questions, though.
It's a great way to add a narrator that's like in the game instead of like some omniscient like voice. He's there. He's like attached to your hip.
And
literally,
he says right when you meet him, he's like, just so you know, I'm the smartest man in the world. I know everything, every language. You won't find anybody smarter than me. And Mimir is a real thing in Norse mythology. That expert was saying he's only mentioned twice, but Odin kept this head around to just talk through like plans with it. And yeah, so it's a really interesting way. Instead of having, I found an audio log. This guy will actively just like tell you stories, and the banter's great. Because that is your party essentially. you'll have Kratos, who won't want to talk. Atreus, who is a child who, at one point, Atreus does learn that he is part god, and then he goes through a conflict there.
His teenage rebellion years real fast.
Yeah, his rebellion years is 2 days. The whole game takes place in a day. It's just like he's super upset for one mission. He's like, I'm a god, so could I be a goat?
Yeah, Norse mythology does have some of that too.
Yeah.
Loki has his moment.
Loki likes to turn into snakes.
Or also horses.
Oh, he does.
He fucks
and an
horses.
alligator.
He fucks
really?
horses.
Yeah.
You might
I'm not kidding. That's how Sleipnir exists.
Yeah, the Odin's
Odin's
horse with the
horse.
8 legs.
Oh, really?
Or Loki got a little
Yeah,
curious.
he's
That's
the father.
Odin's son? Or Loki's
Loki's
son?
the father, yeah.
well-
Loki's the father of the horse.
Speaking of Loki's sons, you know Jormungandr, the giant world serpent, that giant thing? That's Loki's son.
See, and this is where the timeline makes no sense.
Well, if you know who Jormungandr is, Jormungandr was sent back in time during Ragnarok.
Yeah, see, that's where, I mean, I don't know a ton about Norse mythology. I watched Vikings and I played God of War, so I am by no means an expert. But
That's not how it is in the actual. I mean, it is, but it's not. That's not how. Loki in this game, as far as I'm concerned, he's like a reincarnation of like Loki.
No, this is, as far as Loki is concerned, this is just Loki.
So he's not the son of a frost giant. He's
You find out at the end of the game that your wife is a frost giant. The reason she wants you to scatter her ashes on Jotunheim is because that's where her people are, and that's where you will learn the true story. And their entire journey was prophesied, and you can there's a mural there that shows your entire journey already.
that was such a cool part of the game.
And there's a one part of the mural. It's just Kratos rubbing a lady's boobs, and he just erases that part really quick.
Yeah.
What was that?
Nothing.
College. But yeah, so he is the son of a frost giant. And I guess Loki's father in Norse mythology, it's a little kind of fast and loose. The character is not too well defined. And the expert I was listening to was like, it's not terrible that Kratos is the father. If you want to squint your eyes a bit, that can be fine. But so yeah, and in Ragnarok, the little girl you see in the trailer, that will be Loki's wife, or at least Loki's baby's mama.
oh
Yeah. Which includes a horse.
Who gives birth to a horse, I just learned.
And Jormungandr.
no.
Jormungandr, though, is their child. The giant snake that you go inside of. Which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Everything that showed that, I only watched the videos, I didn't play the game, but everything that showed that was just seeing that colossal scale of that thing was just amazing. And it, the talking and everything and it traveling in the background was just fantastic.
Yeah, and it was nice to have a God of War game that wasn't so linear. You can go and explore shit. You don't have to go do the next mission right away, and Atreus will constantly remind you, do you want to go to the fucking wherever, or do you want to explore some more?
I want to go check out that area.
Yeah, and that was cool. I didn't expect it to be so open world.
The Chiefs play at 7. We're going home.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but once you're on your mission, you're trying to take the ashes to a peak, and you get to the Lake of the Nine. And one thing they do that's really cool with this is when you get there, it's all water. You wake up Jormungandr, the giant serpent, and he partially comes out of the water, so the water lowers, and you see this much more area to go explore. Later on, he even comes further out, so the lake gets as low as it goes, and you can have more areas to explore that interconnect with all the other spots. The world design is really good, and yeah, it does kind of interrupt the narrative thrust of the game when you just go play with wayward spirits.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do?
It's better to have that content than to not. If it means something.
A ghost mentioned he was sad about his son leaving. We should go investigate instead of getting your mother's ashes to the mountain. Chiefs play at 7.
Just helpful distractions.
Yeah. I don't know why he's a Chiefs fan, but yeah, there's a fair amount of side content, and it's mostly all great. I enjoyed exploring this world quite a bit.
Yeah, I think all the little side plots that you do are terribly long. They don't take away that much from the story if you want to go do those instead of the very important task that you've been prompted to do with the ashes. But I also had fun doing like the rift tears and volcano trials. I forget the name of the place.
Muspelheim.
Yeah, the Valkyries. Like, there's a lot of shit to do besides just the main story, and it is kind of like a little frustrating to have to kill all those ravens, get all the collectibles. But I mean, you got to do it for the platinum trophy, right?
No.
I'm trying. I'm trying so hard.
I don't think there's ever been a point in my life where I gave a fuck about getting a platinum trophy. It's like who like I have all the Final Fantasies from 5 through 9, almost a hundo completed on one memory card, and it got corrupted. Those no longer exist. But one thing I had to say to myself afterwards, and I kind of pretty much cried about it, I had to say, like, who was I going to impress with this horse shit?
No, it was for your own thing. So you could go back and look at like, I'll do that with old saves sometimes.
Oh, I had a Vagrant story save that I was very proud of, but like at the end of the day, I'm like, what am I trying to get out of a video game? And I know that people platinum hunt all the time. Like, it just never occurs to me. Like, I'm like, I'll get whatever I need to get out of this fucking thing. Like, I'll play a Soulsborne until I beat it, unless it's Sekiro. But
we're in an interesting era though of cloud saves. I can take Oblivion, which I haven't played since 2010 or whatever, and the save will have transferred like from the 360 to my Series X through the cloud somehow, and I can just load up my same save. It's amazing how it does that, because I was able to just my God of War 3 save from the PS4, and I haven't touched that game in forever. I just turned it on. It's like load game. I'm like, yeah, and I was right at Zeus.
Christ,
it's crazy how that stuff is preserved as well. And to your point of platinum trophies and who are you trying to impress?
Was Carly really impressed when you showed all of your platinums?
Carly, I platinumed Elden Ring. Good. Are you done? Like that's all it is for her.
That's how it would go.
That's how you get a wife.
Yeah. Chiefs are on at 7.
She can't run.
God damn.
Yeah, I have platinumed a few games. It depends on though. I will never platinum an Assassin's Creed game because I will not.
There's no reason to, and also it's like, why?
When it comes to something like with this game, I saw the end game content and I got to Poison Swamp Realm and I said, this isn't for me.
I don't like poison places in video games.
Infuriating.
Yeah,
I think is the only part of the game I did not enjoy.
Yeah, and it's procedurally generated, that realm too, which is
bad. I do not like poison levels in video games. I think.
What about Dark Souls?
I don't like Blighttown.
You don't? Okay.
You are not going to like Blighttown.
Yeah. Well, someone was saying like they're thinking of expanding.
Nobody likes Blighttown.
That they're thinking of expanding Elden Ring into like media outside of games, and someone posted just Miyazaki in your bedroom making a poison swamp. Get out of my bedroom. Yeah, but you do finally get to the peak of the main realm you're in. You think this is the highest peak. You overhear Boulder talking with the two sons of Thor, and they're also trying to get to Jotunheim. You find out that this isn't the highest peak and you need to get to Jotunheim, but they're trying to get there, and that's one of the reasons they want to use you, is because apparently you're one of the only ways to get there. And this is when you pick up Mimir's head, and you learn that after climbing a mountain, fighting a dragon, going into Dark Elf Land to go get away to get past Black Smoke, which is not a video game gimmick to make the journey longer, but you go into Black Elf Land to get through there, and then you get to the top of this mountain. They're like, sorry, your princess is in another castle, kind of.
Yeah, pretty much.
Your journey's not done, and getting into Jotunheim, you find out, is a lot more difficult, but we're going to take a quick break to hear from another amazing show from the Tokyo Beat Podcast Network.
And we're back with another great episode of...
Hold your horses, mister. This is a commercial for our show, Nasty Lamps, not the actual show.
You mean to tell me this is a commercial for our bi-weekly show from game studio Chuhai Labs, where we talk about games, game dev, Japan, and whatever else comes up?
Yep, and it stars me, Kinsey Burke. And also it has my junior co-host, Mark Lentz.
Sup, though?
So catch brand new episodes twice monthly for only 3 easy payments of $420.69.
That doesn't make sense.
Nasty Labs! Only on the Tokyo Beat Network.
I used to hate facial hair, but then it grew on me. Why did they put a gate on Helheim? Because people were dying to get in.
This show is sponsored by the First Encounter video game podcast. Good friends of ours, Chris and Haney. Do you like video games? Do you like sharing your video games with your best friends? Let's say your best friend has never played Final Fantasy VII. First, why are they your friend? Next, invite them over and play video games with them. Maybe start a podcast. That's what Chris and Haney have done. They go on journeys together where they play beloved video games, one person being the one who loves it and the other one being the new, fresh person who has never seen Legend of Zelda. And we highly recommend checking out First Encounter. Great podcast, cool guys, very funny, very informative. And yeah, so check them out, and thanks for listening to us, and back to God of War.
Why don't crabs give to charity? Because they're shellfish, boy.
30 intelligence?
Yeah.
So I'm still like level like 40 or something, but
Look at that.
Perfect.
I'm getting drunk.
Wisconsin.
Scony.
I don't have a problem. I have a hobby.
Kratos is still learning to be a father. He has been told by Freya, who you discover that Freya is actually Baldur's mom, and she's a god. And Kratos' first thing is like, oh, I don't like gods. I'm leaving. And I don't know. It's kind of shitty.
It's weird. He has
That's like saying you're a Democrat and like everyone in South Dakota is like, you should leave. You're not supposed to be here.
Something's wrong. You were born incorrectly.
But I don't know. I mean, Mimir and Freya are like, you really should tell this kid he's a god. This is going to be the longer you wait, it, the bigger issue. It's like if you get chlamydia, you need to deal with it right away.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah. You can't put that off. Like, let the kid know that he's got chlamydia.
Yeah, it can get to your brain, I hear.
Yeah, it's kind of Kratos dealing with his own demon in a way, right? Like he didn't know he was a demigod god or whatever back in the originals, and then he's just like, I'm still mad about it.
And then Kratos is like, I'm not telling him about sex. He can learn himself. The right thumbstick. Flick it. Yes.
Twist it like a nipple, boy.
The city was burning. There were 20 women in one bed.
They all jumped in. I could not help it.
It took me 20 seconds. Just roll the right thumbstick around a couple times in a circle.
Yeah.
You'll get it.
How's he doing that? But yeah, you tell Atreus, and he kind of becomes sick too. There's a point where he collapses because he's having. This is because he didn't know he was a god.
Yeah.
And you have to. That's when you have that first mission where you have to go
Into Helheim.
You have to get your blades of chaos because axes don't work in Helheim.
Because of the frost.
Because we need blades of chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is a big moment. Sadly, that one was spoiled for me before playing the game where you go back home, you move your yearbook, and you grab your blades of chaos. But, I mean, that's a big moment for fans of the franchise. And that's a nice way to bring something back and give it weight. Because if you just had those at the beginning, it wouldn't feel as impressive.
It's true.
Yeah. And as far as like some cool set pieces in the game, yeah. There's a crazy spot where you're on the flying ship with Atreus trying to get out of hell.
Yeah.
That one was pretty cool.
You basically make like a hot air balloon or a zeppelin out of a crashed ship.
It's pretty wonky.
Yeah.
It does work. I do like the giant's corpse.
I think that was my favorite little set piece because you come right face to face with him.
Yeah, and it is dead, but like the beard hairs are bigger than Kratos, and that's really cool to see. But you actually have to climb up, knock down an axe to break in to get a chisel of the gods. No, you just fucking God of War shit, I guess. I don't know.
And Mimir talks shit the whole time too, like, all you know how to do is break things. And Kratos is just like, I got the chisel, didn't I?
Yeah. Let's think about this. Break door.
Yeah.
Break door now.
I want to be in there. I'm going to go through here.
That's stone, Kratos. That's not the worst Mimir. Yeah, you go to a bunch of the different realms. You go to Alfheim. You go to Muspelheim.
Jotunheim for like 7 seconds.
Apparently, though, it's not called Helheim in real Norse mythology. They added that for the game. It's just called Hell.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
GL.
Yep.
There's so many classic bosses of Norse mythology. You have Svartalfur, Hreisler. Some of my favorite characters. I'm not even going to try any of the other ones.
Yes, I mean, you did
Let me-
okay
let
on the
me-
first
let
two,
me
I
read-
think.
let me read some
I
of
can't.
these.
I don't. Yeah, I'm not.
I'm gonna
butchering
read some of
stuff.
these.
Okay,
I want to see if I can recognize any.
let me pull up a list of the bosses so you can just have like a nice list. God of War 2018 bosses.
I don't even know what those fucking accents are called. There's dots and like lines and stuff.
Umlauts.
Umlauts.
That's what they're called in German.
The 2 dots above use A's and vowels are called umlauts.
In French, I think it's called like an accent circumflex. Maybe
That's-
I don't remember anymore.
That's so extra.
That is extra, bro.
Aigu, aigrave, circumflex, and another one. I don't remember anymore.
Oh God, like this website's trying to kill my iPad.
Don't worry about it. Oh, Sigrun. Yeah. Hildur. Gunnar. Gondul. Girdriful. Freya. Olrun. Kara. Eir.
Those aren't the tough ones. The trolls are the tough ones. But I
don't think I could do the trolls.
let's do trolls. Let me pull the trolls up. That'll be better.
We want to do the trolls now.
We want to see the troll names.
You did too good on that one.
Those are
legit.
easy.
Brenna Dowdy. Dowdy Hamar. Dowdy Kapmadir. Dowdy Munner. Death Eater. Grendel of the Forest. Grendel of the Ashes. Yarn Folter. Matur Helsin Stonebeard King. I don't even know if I got any of these right. Don't correct me because I don't care.
You definitely start mumbling when you're not sure. When you're Artlefer? Matt.
Matt.
My favorite troll, Matt. Yes, you have to go inside of Jormungandr at one point, your big snake grandson, and that's fun. You use Mimir's head to get to Jotunheim. I'm trying to just think of other like iconic moments in the game.
Yeah, using his head to get to Jotunheim is hilarious because he doesn't even think about if that could kill him.
Yeah,
like maybe we should think about this for a second. Hold on.
You put a sock in his mouth.
Shut up.
Yum yum.
It's almost 7.
Is Mimir the guy that's trapped in the tree? Who's trapped in the tree?
He is trapped in the tree, and you cut his head off so you can bring him with you.
Okay.
And then it's a dead head, not like the hippie.
Not Grateful Dead style?
No, but that's why you go to Freya's, because
Damn.
she resurrects the head, and then he's just a head.
And she doesn't like him. They have history. They got beef.
Yeah.
And so it's like bringing, one of your like enemies back to, well, not an enemy, but somebody you dislike back to life. Like, this motherfucker's dead. Why don't we just leave it that way?
I liked him dead.
He saw her doing something with a horse, and it's just not good.
Goats, horses, whatever.
Yeah, you find out that Baldur can be made mortal again, made not immune to damage by mistletoe. So you bring him over to a Christmas party.
Give him a big old smooch.
Oh, slap it on him right on the lips.
And you stab him under the mistletoe. It's very romantic. But then as Baldur is about to die, he's still obsessed with killing his mom. Kratos is like, don't kill your mom. He's like, I'm going to kill her. And he's like, don't. And he's like, I'm going to do it. He's like, I'll kill you. And he does it anyways, and Kratos kills him. He's like, don't. And then
Classic.
And then after saving Freya's life, she says, it's kind of like Willem Dafoe in The Lighthouse. As she curses Kratos like with all of that.
Real loud.
Oh, she hark ye.
Harky.
Yeah.
It's Kratos, right? It's Kratos dealing with himself. Like, don't do it. But I'm so mad.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Don't kill people. Are you for real, Kratos?
Didn't you kill like all the people at one point?
You literally killed everybody in Greek mythology.
Every type of relative you have. Literally. Cousin, brother, dad, mom.
Atreus is here and they're standing in the corner like, what? What do we got going on?
You ripped off Icarus's wings?
Dick move, bro. That's all he had. Yeah, like you literally killed every type of family member there is. Who are you right now telling me not to kill my mom? Fuck off, man.
Mercy is knowing when to spare a person.
Do the gods in this know of Kratos through his reputation?
Kratos is known. Freya is aware, and Mimir pieces together. He's like, I think I know who you are, and you're dangerous. Like he alludes to like, I know what happened with Zeus.
Yeah, because he is following the whole Tyr's. It's that the map that Odin stole from Tyr that's in that chamber that has like the Sparta logo on the one side. It's got I think Egyptian.
Yep, which they are setting up for the next mythologies they explore already.
That's the one I know the least about, and probably would be the most excited about is the Egyptian one. I don't know anything about it, really.
I actually don't know too much about Egyptian mythology, despite playing Assassin's Creed Origins.
There are a lot
I didn't play
ones.
the DLC.
They better have their animal heads.
But I would love to fight Anubis.
Yeah,
They better have
That'd
their
be
fucking
sick.
animal heads, is all I'm saying. They better have animal heads. That's all I care about.
Crocodile, hippo.
Zeus says, hold my beer.
The Chiefs are playing.
It's almost 7. Gameplay options for this. There are difficulty options for them. 1 is give me a story. 2, give me a balanced experience. 3, give me a challenge. 4, give me God of War. Difficulty options are not always... I mean, we talked about this the other day, Dylan, about having a balanced gameplay experience and having anything other than what was designed could cheapen the experience, but this is a game, though, that I think some people do just really want the story, and they do not want to be challenged.
I think there is a place for it, and I think that certain styles of games need that. But I think they understand inherently what balance is between all of these. I think, like with something like Elden Ring, to cheapen it means that you cheapen the world. You cheapen everything that you're doing within the context of it. With this, if you're just... Because Elden Ring's not about a power fantasy. These games are still inherently about power fantasies. You're supposed to have this experience of like, maybe it's a little tougher, but you're still supposed to feel like a badass. Elden Ring doesn't want that from you. So, I mean, like giving the options for people in something like this feels better artistically.
Appropriate.
It's nicer to, I don't think... I'm always going to be the type of person who says not everything is made for everyone, and I think it's boring when they are, because then they just end up being the same Marvel movie I've seen a million times. It's just,
Yeah, I played the first time on the give me the story.
You went for easy mode the first time.
My buddy told me to do it. He was like, just enjoy it. Like,
your buddy's wrong. Your buddy's a little bitch.
It was way too easy, but I did enjoy the game. Like the story was. I mean, like I said, it's awesome, but you really do feel like God because literally nothing is ever a threat.
Yeah.
And I know people who do that in Uncharted games. They're just like, what's the easiest mode?
If I was going to go back and play like Uncharted 1 or 2, where there's some really obtuse things, I'd be like...
one with like the zombie parts.
Fuck it,
Yeah.
I do just want to get through the story so I can see it, but yeah. I'm very surprised you went from easy to hard mode then.
Yeah, well, after I had the story, I was like, well, let's check it out. I did the Give Me God of War, and that was next to impossible. But then I jumped back down to just the...
Give me a challenge.
Yeah, and it's super fucking hard.
Yeah.
It is very challenging, and I did not do New Game Plus, so I started like from scratch and just redid the game.
Yeah.
But I had a lot more fun playing it on hard, but I do get why people would like the easy mode because you literally feel like a god.
Yeah.
Like, that was kind of cool. But I wouldn't recommend playing it on easy because it was far too easy.
I bet Carly couldn't beat it on easy.
Well, let's not make fun of...
It's not making fun of.
fiancé.
She's not a gamer.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, we can't have that. I mean, like,
And
that discussion would be like...
She did mention today, she's like, Dylan texted me to play Stardew Valley out of nowhere. I'm like, oh, I was there.
Yeah. Well, I was like, you got to play Stardew Valley. And she's like, okay. I'm like, you'll like it. Like, literally, I was like, Carly would like Stardew Valley. I was talking to you about it. And she's like, yeah, just tell her to play it. I don't know. I'm like, yeah, she's got it. There's the Nintendo Switch right over there. That's the perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
She's got to play it.
Well, let's run through a list of collectibles for Tyler's Platinum Trophy.
Which is not obtained yet because Elden Ring is a thing.
Yeah. 45 artifacts, 38 mystic gateways, 16 shops, 39 lore markers, 51 Odin's ravens, 21 Nornir chests.
Wait, how many Odin's ravens?
51.
Fuck those things.
So you said there's 20.
No, there's a lot. I maybe have 20.
There you go.
21 Nornir chests, 34 legendary chests, 2 legendary chests, although they keep their bras on, 18 Realm Terror encounters, 7 hidden chambers, 11 Jotnar shrines, 13 purple language cipher chests, and 12 treasure maps.
Oh.
There's a lot. The shrines, I think, are my favorite collectible.
Is that the one where you just open like the wardrobe?
Yeah, and he goes, boy, and then he throws this thing over, and then once after you get Mimir, because you can find a couple, I think you can find 2 before you get Mimir's head. But then they'll go through a little bit of lore, a little bit of backstory. Atreus and Mimir will talk about it, and those were my favorite.
Yeah, as far as endgame content besides that, they're the Wayward Spirits, which are little random ghosts that say, hey, you should go over there, fight a set number of enemies, and then there'll be a resolution to my story. And
Return my bones.
And those were mostly fine. I didn't really go looking for them, but those are things that I just kind of wound up doing most of. I did enjoy the dragons and the dwarves content where
Yeah.
I've never had a mythology where they're like, that dragon actually was a dwarf who got corrupted. I'm like, dwarves can turn into dragons, which I thought was kind of cool. I didn't know that was a thing that has ever happened.
Yeah. What the fuck? I forgot his name.
Fafnir?
Fafnir, yes.
Fafnir's storeroom?
Yep.
What's the other super dragon or whatever in Norse? Hang on. You guys go ahead.
Yeah. But I like those side quests. Mostly you were doing things for your 2 dwarf buddies. One is bald and gruff, and the other one is very prissy.
Yeah. One's very blue. And
Germaphobe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gags every time you give him the axe.
You touched it.
Yeah.
You touched it. You're going to have to wash your hands now, Kratos.
And speaking
I'm
of
not wearing a mask.
Speaking of the dwarves, I really liked the leveling up your armor and shit. That was cool.
Yeah.
And as you level up the axe and the blades, they change how they look.
Yep.
I like little shit like that.
And the there's a lot of armor in the game and a lot of customization options as far as you can upgrade certain weapons or attach certain runes to your weapons. And then we'll just give you vastly different attack abilities.
Yep.
So there's a lot of depth there as well. You'll have Muspelheim. We mentioned this before. Series of combat challenges as you climb a volcano involving kill enemies fast, survive, kill them inside gold rings.
That one sucked ass.
Yeah.
Because you have to like crowd control to the umpteenth degree. And you can't always just pal drive the dude in the middle of the circle because some of them are animations and you just end up running them into a wall or barely missing the circle and then it starts over.
Right.
Try again.
Yeah, that sucked.
The 3 dragons are Fafnir, Nidhogg, and Jormundr.
Nidhogg.
I don't fucking
That's
know.
what that girl was saying in the village that one time, but then a goat showed up.
I need a hog.
Oh, gosh.
When a bear is hungry, he eats goat. Yes, so there's a Valkyrie at the top of the Muspelheim trials, and then after you beat that, there's the Impossible trials, which are unlocked. And these are also known as Surters, hidden trials. After you beat the regular ones, you can replay harder versions of the first 5. Completing 3 of those unlock the hidden trials, which is just more punishment.
I did not know those existed because I have not beat that Valkyrie yet.
Yeah.
That Valkyrie is hard as hell.
Then there's Niflheim. Collect 4 ciphers to unlock this realm. It's a poisonous maze. Avoid the fog by sticking to high ground, find chests, procedurally generated. And if you die, you lose all of your mist echoes. You need to bring your mist echoes back to buy more armor to get further in there. That sounded like really dumb busy work to me.
I didn't stay very long in that realm.
You're going to have to if you want to platinum.
I know. I won't platinum anytime soon, but it's on my to-do list.
And then there are, of course, the Valkyrie's 8 optional super bosses, imprisoned in physical form. So by beating the shit out of them, you are freeing their spirits. So that's good. And how many of those have you beaten?
4 or 5. 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty tough.
Yeah, I mean, they're not as bad as the one on top of the volcano, but I was getting pretty good. After beating the story on hard, I felt like I had a pretty good handle on the combat. But they are super fucking difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, I die a couple times. Takes a little bit. You got to learn their moves.
I tried fighting a few and I noped out of there. I said, no, I don't care enough and I'm not going to.
You denied Kratos his favorite pastime of ripping off wings then.
It's almost 7. Mostly, I was playing through the game with a certain understanding of the combat, and I was not being super critical or thoughtful about my combat. And fighting a Valkyrie would require me to approach everything differently and like actually really be engaged, and I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah.
I was enjoying the story, and I was mostly there for the story, and I was ready to nope out of most of the end game stuff. There are some other items released around this game. Before it came out, we had God of War: A Call from the Wilds. This was a text-based game playable through Facebook Messenger.
What? No.
Released 2 months before the game. It's Atreus having archery training with his mother, finding a dying deer, and then Kratos saves him from dragons or something. Get people excited by Facebook Messenger games.
Oh yeah, meta.
I platinumed it.
But I didn't do the text-based game.
I got the sticker for beating it, and I got 10 likes, so it went well. And then there is God of War: Mimir's Vision, which is an AR experience with interactive maps. Mostly just you can interact with the map, and Mimir will tell you, narrate stuff about the lore, which...
I don't hate that. That's fine.
You have the voice actor doing it, which I can just listen to Mimir do anything.
Mimir reads 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
And then he spanked me pretty hard. My mom had a copy of it, and I read it out loud during like a Christmas. I was like, and then like, wow, this is some real tame shit, Mom.
Dylan, you should go to a church on Sunday and just be reading 50 Shades of Grey in the middle of church.
Sure, yeah, I'd do it.
Yeah.
We have a guest speaker today. He's going to take the podium and read a couple of verses.
And God said, put clothespins on my nipples?
Emotionally torture me.
That's something God would say for
And
sure.
we're going to pass around the offering tray, so we'll leave you with that.
The official novelization was written by Cody Barlog's father, James.
There's an official novelization.
Yep, reveals Kratos chose to leave ancient Greece to hide his identity and change who he was. And he has tried to cast the Blades of Chaos away multiple times, but they keep returning. It reminds me of what, like like Goosebumps with the little doll. They keep trying to get rid of the dummy, Slappy. Other things, I don't know. That's like that's a common horror trope, though, where you try and get rid of something that just always returns.
Annabelle, that creepy doll.
It's always the creepy doll that come back.
Is that I can't remember where that like trope started. I think it's like an Asian mythology where it's a mask, maybe, or like I can't remember.
Yeah.
The mask always returns or whatever, and then you can't really actually take it off. Things like that. I can't remember. Sure. I don't know if that's right.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be.
There was another book called B is for Boy. It's an illustrated storybook with Kratos teaching the alphabet. It looks really cute. It's also just like strange because this man is very sexually active in a dangerous way. Murders for fun. There's also a 10-part podcast series that is official with this game.
Oh, no.
It's called Lost Pages of Norse Myth. It is a 10-part podcast series. I haven't checked it out, but it apparently explains a lot of background lore and is teasing things about Ragnarok, which is kind of cool. Allegedly, God of War Ragnarok will be releasing September 30th, 2022. What we know so far, Atreus is older and more confident. It's been about 3 years, and we face the impending Ragnarok. We'll face enemies like Freya and Thor. And the story will take place across the 9 realms, including the 6 we have seen so far, adding Vanaheim, Svartalfheim, and Asgard will also be featured. Angerboda is a new young female character. Norse mythology has her as Loki's spouse, mother to big snake boys. Fenrir and Hel are also their children, I guess.
Fenrir is a big wolf that swallows the moon.
Man, that shit gets crazy over there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I've been hungry before, but geez.
Yum, yum, yum.
Yeah.
Was a cow jumping over it or something? He missed and ate it.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Going for the cow.
Tyr is also featured. He is the god of war in Norse mythology.
He swallows the sun. He swallows the sun.
Dick.
Lame.
Tyr is the son of Odin, half-brother to Thor and Balder. Big dude, and is imprisoned. Possibly wants to settle a score with Odin. And yes, So that's God of War Ragnarok's coming out later this year. And we had mentioned before, Egyptian mythology, I think, is another easy spot for them to go. I would be more excited for them to go to Mayan mythology next. I don't know. I'd prefer Chinese mythology most of all, but I don't think they have. They're going to do that.
And a lot of those aren't like set standards, so their myth is a little bit more fluid. So
Where would you like to see him go, Dylan?
I say quit for another 7 years, and then come back.
Yeah? After Ragnarok, give it time.
Let it stew. I think.
And then Kratos is on a vacation to Egypt with Atreus, and they accidentally fall in a well.
Well, I think what you can learn from something like this is let them make a different game. Let your wings spread a little bit, like stretch, and then come back to the thing and see what you learned from your little expenditure. Because it seems to me like waiting was the best thing that this series has ever had. If you want the same thing over and over again, I mean, you can deal with that, but look at even like Resident Evil from 6 to 7. What a great change.
Yeah.
And I mean, Resident Evil 8 might as well be the Ragnarok of that style.
Yeah. I guess I don't know.
The next game's probably not even going to look exactly like it.
They've been teasing Resident Evil 8 DLC for a long time, and we don't know shit yet.
I think they waited to see what characters they liked, and I think you're going to be Lady D.
Oh boy, big titty vampire woman.
Oh yeah.
I haven't played the game, but I know about big titty vampire woman.
You won't be Lady D, but maybe you'll be another character exploring like Lady D's spot and dealing with them.
Maybe.
I think that could be cool. Or maybe it's Lady D when she was a jazz singer. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When she was a jazz singer.
She was a jazz singer in a band when she was younger.
Yep.
Wow.
Don't you listen to Raw Dogs?
Yeah, totally.
all the time. It's my favorite podcast.
You should. On the Discord, Ryan says, the Leviathan axe in 2018 was a great addition, but the game just really felt like it reached its potential when you found the Blades of Chaos again. What else is there to say? Niflheim runs in 2018 were a great way to catch up on some old podcasts. So he did it. He did Poison Swamps. Yeah, that would have been Poison Swamps. The Valkyrie battles were challenging and rewarding. The only thing that kept me from 100% 2018 was that I just didn't feel like going back and finding all those ravens.
Fuck the Ravens.
Yeah. That sounds like a rejected Edgar Allan Poe poem. Fuck the Ravens.
Halfway through, I don't know how to finish this. Fuck the Ravens.
Yeah. That's all we got from the Discord. I know you guys didn't play God of War 2018, but I highly recommend it.
I'll get to it once I get the mythical PS5. I don't know what to tell you there.
Yeah.
Like, I should have had one by now, probably 1 million times over. I never had this problem with
just because you don't want Destruction Battles All-Stars Royal included.
Yeah, I want to pay $60 for a game I'm gonna fucking hate. I'm not doing that. I'm not a chump.
Well, that makes one.
If you want to borrow it, though, I got it.
Most people do.
Yeah. Well, they gave it to you free 5 months or like 5 minutes after I got the game. It's like, oh, it's free now.
Fucking bastards.
Yeah. Still never put it in my PlayStation 5.
Of course not. Why would you?
Do we know if Ragnarok's going to be PS4 as well as 5?
It's 4 and 5, yeah.
Games these days.
Well, if they had by now, there should be enough PS5s out there, but this chip shortage has fucked everything over.
Yeah.
So if they don't do it multi-platform, then they're not going to sell nearly as many copies as they need to. It's just how it works. They tell them to dumb it down. That's why a lot of these things ended up getting delayed. They're like, they were supposed to be purely next gen, and every person is like, fuck, we have to make it fit on this system.
Yeah.
That's what everyone's been talking about in the scenes, apparently. Like Horizon Forbidden West was supposed to be just a fucking PS5 game. Mm-hmm. And then they had to be like, well...
I'd love to see Elden Ring on like a chunky Xbox One.
Which I play it on.
Yeah, like...
It actually works quite well.
And that's...
I still hit 30 frames.
That's amazing. The size of that game and that map that it just runs...
The loading times are a little bit difficult at times, but if I'm listening to a podcast, it's fine.
Sometimes I won't even have time to like burp, and they'll be like, I'll be in the other part of the map.
Congratulations.
It's really, I can't even run and grab a beer. It sucks for me. I wish I was playing on an Xbox One. That sounds terrible.
Darn.
Yeah. And you love God of War 2018. It's your favorite game of all time, right, Nate?
Oh yeah, yeah. But yeah, nailed it.
And then I went to China.
Yeah. I don't know. As far as the longevity of the brand goes, I like the idea of waiting and then re-sparking it, because you've created another generation of people who play video games that really fell in love with Kratos' character, and implanting him in the exact same scenario that people seem to have loved in a different mythology or pantheon or whatever would be fantastic. Like, even the excitement about, I don't know enough about Egyptian or Mayan for that matter, but it would just be, I think, epic. And it's on my to play list.
It's hard to imagine Kratos in a desert or exploring pyramids.
I think he's going to die in this one.
I agree with you.
Loki will be the new god of like new character.
Yeah, it's going to be Atreus.
Yeah.
I think that's a bad.
They're going to age him up, and they're going to make him his own character. They're going to evolve away from a lot of this
Kratos
stuff.
will end the cycle of sons killing their fathers by sacrificing himself to save his son.
Probably, yeah.
And it'll have something.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
I want it to keep going.
Raise a heart attack while fucking a goat.
I want Atreus, something bad to happen to Atreus somehow, and I want Kratos to go on a rampage and just like, fuck it, gods are shitty everywhere. I'm not going to kill just the Greek pantheon. I'm not going to kill just the North pantheon. I'm fucking killing them all until I end with Jesus.
Dude. Kratos takes a turn. He's like, no, I hate everything. And he kills Atreus.
Well,
like he just is like, no, you're a god. I hate you now. He just starts killing everyone again.
He's
like, I miss fucking.
He already killed one of his kids, right?
Yeah.
Who's to say they don't like rebrand it where like something happens like that again and he just goes nuts?
All of the work for this character development, and Kratos just doubles down. Fuck this.
I'm killing everything.
It's possible.
It is his trope, though. He grew up in this latest one, but realistically, he's still Slaughterhouse Kratos.
Yeah.
I would be just as excited to see the evolution of the kid, or like Kratos go off the deep end and murder his child that you fell in love with in this game, and then you're just like, oh,
dude, talk about making a character not redeemable. Kratos was bad before, and then like he kills his child on purpose without remorse.
Well, not necessarily on purpose. Like something like you could go any way with it, right? Like he didn't kill his first child on purpose, but I think if you somehow made it so Atreus got hurt or like gravely injured, cursed, killed, any of these things, and he's just like, Kratos just goes nuts. He's a little off Chad now, but you can go back to full Chad where he's just like, fuck it, I'm killing everything.
I do think they have to make him go full Chad again and then try and bring him back down from Chad. I don't know, because the Chad, once it's inside of you, you always have a little bit of Chad inside of you.
Yeah, you can never really get rid of it.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna hear Korn on the radio at some point. You're like, man, I am angry.
I was 16 once.
It is just one of those days. I feel like a freak on a leash right now.
I'm really feeling some ball with the ball to bang to bang diggy diggy dee said the boogie said I've dropped the boogie today.
And I'm not getting vaxxed.
Yeah. Yeah. I would love to see the wait and then produce something that's just like another epic story point of like something happening, like I said, something happening to Atreus, or even something terrible happening to Kratos and Atreus essentially becoming Kratos, or maybe, I don't know, murdering him. I'm totally okay with this children killing fathers timeline continuing. Yeah. I mean, it's at this point, it's what you do.
I like that Zeus is worried about sons killing fathers. Like, let's start fathers killing sons. Like, let's mix it up a little bit. It sounds fun, you know?
Yeah, let's just do something else, you know? Just mix it up.
I personally think God of War 2018 is a fantastic game. It is a brilliant redesign of the character and the world, and it was a much-needed transition. They could go further with the combat. They could go further with trying to like lean into thoughtful gameplay, which they've already done a lot of. But I think there's a lot of room for them to grow, and I think Ragnarok will probably be the perfect execution of what they were aiming for in 2018. And I agree. Take a break, and then after proving once that they can change mythologies, that is just giving them an open door where we find out that Jesus is Kratos' nephew.
He's coming for him.
Yeah.
The stone rolls out of the way and he rises and Kratos just rolls it back.
Just pushes him on his ass and rolls the stone back in place. I know you ain't strong, but I know you're immortal, so get in there.
Noah's Ark will be a DLC. Yeah, I mean, there's room for Kratos to go into other things.
He's on the ark like, I said no fucking goats. Get them off.
They're not on here.
Just the point.
Trust
I
me.
can just imagine the point.
Zeus.
You're not fooling anybody.
That goat's name is Terry.
Terry's not allowed on the fucking boat.
Yeah. And that's my thoughts on God of War 2018. Any closing thoughts from Almost Platinum?
No. Well, I'm just really psyched for Ragnarok. From what I've seen through the game, like the trailer, it looks like they've improved on some of they added a little more flair with the animations, because I did feel like it was kind of lame that everything was recycled so much. That was like the one gripe I had. But
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think they're really going to hit their stride and perfect what they sought to achieve in the last game. But the only thing I'm not super psyched about is the reveal of Tyr in the trailer. I felt like that should have been something that just happens in the game. I feel like that was kind of took some wind out of the sails for me.
We watched the trailer. It looks beautiful. The game looks stunning.
Yeah, looks great.
Yeah. And if anything, the fact that I know most of the game takes place in the same area, but it's during right after the Fimbulwinter, so it's going to be just cold, but the same area, which is fine. But also,
you get a dog sled.
You get a dog sled?
Yeah, they sled around.
It was in the trailer.
And I think there's 2 specific animals that try to eat the sun and the moon. I'm guessing that's probably who's going to be pulling. Yeah, pulling your sled.
And they also recently announced that we are getting a God of War series, I think on Amazon, possibly.
Yeah.
Do we think it's going to be Greek or Norse?
It's going to be Greek.
You think it's going to be Greek?
Mm-hmm.
They can't. I don't think they'll do Norse. That'd be too close because Vikings Valhalla just came out.
But that's why you do Norse.
But I feel like that's a little oversaturation.
Greek is way easier as well.
Live action series seems odd to me. This seems like it should be a real stylish anime.
Oh, I totally agree with
animation is infinitely more expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's unfortunate, but it's just how it works. And it would probably look shitty anyway. It'd be like the What If.
Yeah.
It would look like What If. If they wanted to make something like that on the budget, that's what these streaming services give to animators. So it's just not going to happen.
Not going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I'm going to watch the shit out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch it.
I can't believe they actually used Tom Hanks, though, for it.
It's going to be great.
He had to cost a pretty penny, but I'm glad they brought him in.
Mm-hmm.
Danny DeVito's going to play Atreus.
Dreamcasting.
They're just going to bring all the cast of
Always Sunny.
Always Sunny into the fold. That'd be fantastic.
No, Charlie, you're...
Shut the fuck up, Freya. You dumb bird.
Charlie, you are Balder, not Dayman.
Well, yes, Hair the Dogcast exists because of people like you. Thanks for listening. If you have any questions or thoughts about this episode or anything at all, you can reach out to us on Instagram at Hair the Dogcast or on Twitter at Hot Dogcast. You can also email us at hairthedogcast@gmail.com. If you want access to a bunch of bonus episodes, our after show, or even an exclusive podcast where we discuss movies and TV, including Avatar on DVD. Join us on Patreon at patreon.com/hairthedogcast. Executive producers Ryan Christie, Nick, Tyler Keller, Kip, the cool, clever pun that Brad didn't plan, Brian Ward. This has been Raw Dogs, part of Hair the Dogcast, part of the Tokyo Beat Podcast Network. We're all tired.
Yeah, I'm tired.
A little drunk.
Yeah, that's fine.
I got to wake up at 5:30.
Yeah. Welcome to the club.
I'm gonna walk my dog at some point. Yeah.
Okay.
I gotta keep moving.
Yeah, you got to keep moving.
I gotta move more shit today.
Yeah. We were out late last night. At least I was. Yeah, it was like 12:30. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. I think we got close to closing it down?
I have no idea what time I got back to my apartment.
I don't remember Finks that much.
I remember everything, like that guy puking on the ground. That was hilarious.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, we watched a guy projectile vomit off the bar onto the floor towards the bathroom. It's pretty epic.
And then he ended up puking all over the women's room.
Yeah, he ran into the women's room too, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Wow. I mustn't have been there at that time.
No,
it was just us.
It's just the two of us.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys stayed late.
Real late.
Yeah. He had like 5 or 6 more beers after everybody left.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we closed it down.
Perfect.
I don't trust stairs. They are always up to something. What do you call a blind deer? No idea. What, Atreus, is brown and sticky? A stick. What do dark elves learn in kindergarten? The alphabet.